This is Daily Armenia, ＳivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Archbishop Arshak Khachatryan of the Armenian Apostolic Church was arrested in Yerevan yesterday on drug-related charges, marking a new escalation in the standoff between the Armenian government and the church. Khachatryan is accused of arranging for a fellow clergyman to plant narcotics on an anti-Catholicos protest participant in 2018, Armenia's state news agency Armen Press reported, citing Khachatryan's lawyer. The investigative committee earlier reported that Khachatryan was charged with illicit drug distribution. Khachatryan sides with Catholicos Karekin II. His relationship with Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and the ruling Civil Contract Party has deteriorated sharply in recent years, with both leaders calling for each other's removal. The arrest comes weeks after the Archbishop was embroiled in another scandal when a sex tape featuring him circulated online in October and triggered accusations of lewd behavior unbefitting a priest. Critics of the government claimed that the episode served to increase pressure on the church's leadership. Law enforcement subsequently launched a criminal probe into violation of Khachatryan's privacy, which required verifying the identity of the person in the video. The investigative committee later confirmed it was Khachatryan, prompting further criticism that the investigation focused on authenticating the footage, effectively undermining the priest, rather than addressing the breach of his privacy. Khachatryan has joined 3 other senior clerics currently imprisoned. Archbishop Mikhail Ajapahyan was sentenced to 2 years in prison in October for calls to violently change the government. Fellow Archbishop Bagrat Galstanyan and Bishop Mkrtich Prosyan charged respectively with plotting an armed coup and coercing clergy to participate in anti-government protests. The United Kingdom has appointed its first military attaché to be permanently based in Armenia, the British Embassy in Yerevan announced yesterday. Major Thomas Shortland Ball will become the first UK defence official exclusively assigned to Armenia. Previous attachés covered the country from postings in Georgia and Ukraine, and covered multiple countries across the broader region. This historic milestone reflects the growing strength of the UK-Armenia partnership and will further enhance our defence and security cooperation, the British Embassy said in its statement. Ball's appointment was followed by a high-profile visit to Yerevan today by a British delegation led by UK Minister of State for Defence, Lord Vernon Coker, a mid-level defence official responsible for international cooperation and defence diplomacy. The delegation met with Armenian Defence Minister Suren Papikyan and senior ministry officials. The sides held a discussion on defence cooperation between the two countries. The visit aimed at demonstrating Great Britain's long-term commitment to Armenia's security and sovereignty, the embassy said. Armenia and the United Kingdom pledged to elevate the bilateral relationship to the level of strategic partnership in August, during the Yerevan visit of Stephen Doughty, UK's Minister of State for Europe, North America and the Overseas Territories. The new push for closer ties is a rare instance of deepening Armenian-British cooperation, as the UK has traditionally been viewed as closer to Azerbaijan, where companies like British Petroleum and Shell hold extensive energy interests. India's ambassador to Armenia, Nilakshi Saha Sinha, says New Delhi sees significant untapped potential in supplying Armenia with affordable, high-quality pharmaceuticals, an area where India is a global leader, and where Armenia's upcoming health insurance reform could create new demand. In an interview with CivilNet published today, the ambassador emphasized that pharmaceuticals remain one of the most promising sectors for expanding bilateral trade. If you want to succeed, you would need Indian medicines and Indian vaccines, she told CivilNet, adding that India now produces not only vaccines and medicines, but medical equipment as well. However, regulatory hurdles remain. Sinha acknowledged that approval processes in Armenia have slowed the expansion of Indian products into the local market. There are some regulatory issues, and we are working with the Armenian government, she said. Both sides are currently aligning standards and clearing administrative barriers to allow more Indian generics into Armenia. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 75.83. This is the life expectancy in years in Armenia as of this year, although it is lower than 77.47, the all-time peak figure recorded 2 years ago. Life expectancy in the country has grown significantly from 67.63 years at independence in 1991, an increase of 12.3%. However, there is a 6.7-year gap between men and women, which is not a healthy indicator, even though women usually live slightly longer than men globally. This is usually attributed to high smoking rates among men. About half of Armenia's male population are smokers, poorer eating habits, and riskier behavior. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.